Good Sunday morning and happy Father's Day. I'm KHOU 11 meteorologist Chris Ramirez. We are starting off mostly quiet across southeast Texas, but we do have some afternoon downpours possible heading into the afternoon hours, mainly between 12 and maybe 4 or 5 o'clock. So just keep in mind that we're going to see these sea breeze showers and storms that could damper some of those outdoor plans later on today. So warm and muggy. So the areas that don't receive rain likely to see pretty hot conditions, and we're going to keep that daily rain chance for much of the week. So as we look at our hourly planner through today, 1 p.m. is when we're going to start seeing that storm chance move on in, and then getting closer, lasting through at least 5 o'clock. And then eventually things are going to start tapering off and become a bit more quiet later in the afternoon hours. Excuse me. Father's Day forecast highs about 91 degrees. Afternoon downpours, winds out of the south at 10 miles an hour. We are expecting those conditions to start off mostly quiet. Very beautiful start to Galveston. This time yesterday, Galveston was enduring some heavy rain and some flooding in and around Galveston, but we're off to a quiet and fantastic start for today. 84 degrees, south winds at 11 miles an hour. It is really humid out there, so just keep in mind, even though it's 84, it feels like 97 degrees outside. So we are seeing some very muggy conditions, especially for our inland areas as well. So 82 right now in Houston, 4 degrees warmer than what we were at this time yesterday, and then feeling like 91. So we're starting off mostly quiet. So maybe enjoy some brunch, definitely some breakfast with dad, because we're going to continue to see that rain chance ramp up as we head into the afternoon hours. And so when it comes to our monthly rainfall, we are good. We've seen 2.79 inches of rain for the month of June. We're still about 0.06 inches departure in terms of us being below the normal rain for what we see this time of year. And so when it looks at the yearly rainfall, normally for this time of year we see 22.01. We've only seen 19.90 inches, so we're a good 2 inches below the yearly normal. So we're still in the deficit. However, we could still use some rain. Just hopefully we don't get it all at once, because that's going to provide some isolated flooding concerns for folks that have already received the rain. So marginal risk for flooding for today, very isolated risk. Radar starting the morning off quiet. That's not going to be the case as we get closer towards 11:30, 12 p.m. We could start seeing some of these showers and these storms start flaring up and moving in from the south. And like I said, these are going to be very hit or miss showers and downpours. Not everybody's going to receive the full blunt force of the rain impact, but going closer towards 2 to 3 p.m., we could see some storms pack a bit of a punch as we get to the warmer parts of our day, especially for areas to the north of town. So you want to be extra cautious on that rain and storm potential later on this afternoon, because it is in the forecast going into today. We're going to keep this daily rain chance in the picture at least through the next few days for much of the week. So definitely be cautious out there and give yourself enough time heading to and from work, and as well as for that commute home. As far as the flood gauges, we are mostly quiet across Houston and Harris County. We're not seeing any flooding concerns. We're looking at a little bit of a flooding stage out near just the Atascocita south of, I believe that's Lake Houston and San Jacinto River, I believe, as it moves southward. So we're seeing some minor flooding for that region, but not really seeing any widespread impact. So as we look at the next several days, the weather pattern remaining unsettled. We're going to keep these isolated rain chances in the picture through the afternoon hours for Monday, Tuesday, lasting through much of the week. We have this high pressure system just situated in part out west. That's why you're seeing all the rain just stick to eastern part of Texas, as well as that's just going to be the case for Tuesday and into Wednesday going into much of the week. So as we look at the expected rain totals, might see an excess of 2 to 3 inches of rain in some locations. So just keep in mind that the precipitation expecting to be above normal in terms of the Climate Prediction Center's forecast from June 21st to June 25th. The good news about the tropics, we are not seeing any activity for the next 7 days. It is quiet out in the Atlantic Basin. That doesn't mean that it's going to remain quiet. We are still in hurricane season, as a reminder, and we are expecting mostly just not much going on for the next few days. I know there's a lot of models, and you see everything on social media showing that one model run that shows a storm forming maybe in the Gulf or somewhere, but we just have keep in mind that when it comes to hurricanes and when it comes to the GFS and the European model, anything that's surpass 2 weeks in advance definitely is not as accurate than the 7-day window that we usually see, which is why we tell you nothing expected for the next 7 days. And that's also from the National Hurricane Center as well. So make sure to just trust those sources in terms of where you get your weather information, because there's a lot of social media posts picking one model run, and they usually shows a storm forming out near the U.S. And so just be extra cautious on where you get your weather information. And of course, you can get the most accurate weather information here on KHOU.com as well as on the KHOU 11 app. So as far as your 7-day forecast, highs in the 90s, lows in the 70s, rain chances lasting through the next few days. So we are expecting just to remain unsettled. It is going to be warm and muggy from this point forward. So definitely keep in mind that we're going to still have to keep our eyes peeled for some of those hazardous roadways as we start our day or start our week rather. As we've seen for the past 48 hours, we're just having these hit or miss rain chances. Yesterday was during the morning hours, and today it's looking more likely that we're going to see that rain chance start ramping up in the afternoon. So if you're just now joining our live stream, we are starting off mostly quiet here across Houston for our Father's Day. If you have plans with Dad, maybe breakfast, maybe lunch, maybe a late lunch, you'd probably be able to do that. It is going to be quite hot out there, so might want to have those indoors. And then once we head in the afternoon, downpours are possible. Dad's going to have a chance to relax and maybe take a nap and maybe watch some sports or something as we head into the afternoon hours. So warm and muggy conditions expected for the next few hours. But like I said, once we get closer towards 1 o'clock, 3 p.m., 5 p.m., that's when we're going to start to see that rain chance start ramping up, as well as those isolated downpours starting to flare up. And so just keep that in mind that it is going to be also warm. Stay hydrated. Maybe if you're heading out to a park or doing a barbecue outside, or maybe in the pool for the first half of our day. Also keep an eye on that lightning safety if you are in the pool. When thunder roars, head indoors. You don't want to be out in a pool while there's lightning in the vicinity. And so if you hear that thunder, just make sure to get the kids and make sure just to go inside and not be near water. Galveston right now starting off mostly quiet. We are seeing those conditions. Winds are out of the south at 11 miles an hour. However, it's very humid out there. Dew points at 80 degrees, and it's already feeling like 97 out in the coastal areas. And that's the case for us here across the Houston area. We're starting off mostly quiet, not really seeing much of anything but a little bit of haze out there. But we're a good few degrees warmer. Southeast winds at 5 miles an hour, already feeling like 91. So as we head to the next few days, just keep in mind that we will see that rain chance be in the picture at least through the next week or so. And just keep in mind also is that we do have a marginal threat for flooding for this afternoon. That is a marginal risk for flooding. That is a 1 out of 4 on the flood index scale. And radar right now not showing much of anything. This is as of 8:09 this morning. We are seeing a few little pop-up isolated showers just offshore, and just keep in mind that if we are starting to see those pop-up showers offshore as we warm up, it's just going to bring most of that. They're going to become a little bit stronger as we head into the afternoon hours. So you still have some time to do those outdoor plans, or maybe just have a breakfast with Dad for the next few hours, because like I said, once we head closer towards 12 p.m., of course there's 12, look at the time here, 12 p.m., we will start seeing these showers and these downpours start popping up across southeast Texas. And it's going to be very hit or miss. Not everybody's going to receive rain. This is going to last ultimately till 2 to 3 p.m. Some areas might be spared from that rain potential for today, but just keep in mind that by 3, 4 p.m., we will start seeing that rain chance start ramping up, as well as a possibility for maybe a strong storm or two, as well as some isolated flooding for those areas that have received the rain. I know Houston has not really received, Houston proper that is, and I'm talking everywhere inside the Sam Houston Tollway, didn't really see much rain for the last 2 to 3 days, but it's just our outlying areas. Most of the rain yesterday was along the coast. Even the day before that, during, I believe it was Thursday, we did have those very heavy rain out just to the east of downtown, eastern Harris County. So even though that Houston proper inside the loop may have not gotten that much rain, just keep in mind that the good news is that we're not seeing any flooding threats or flooding concerns. It's just when we get those isolated downpours that dump a tremendous amount of rain in one given time. That's when we start seeing those flooding concerns, and that could cause some problems from our streams and rivers and our bayous. But the good news in all of this is that we're not seeing many issues across Harris County at the current moment. This is from the Harris County Flood Control District there. So looking at our future track, definitely expecting those conditions to start becoming a little bit more rainy and stormy this afternoon. The flood gauges along our area bayous and rivers not showing too much of a concern. I believe that's the San Jacinto River just south of Atascocita. That's Lake Houston, just north of there. Might seeing some minor flooding going on in and around that region. So weather pattern, unfortunately, remaining unsettled through the next few days. And like I said, 7-day forecast, highs in the 90s, lows in the 70s. Rainy conditions to last at least through the week. We will see warm and muggy conditions, but each and every day is going to have that rain chance, especially during the afternoon hours. So be cautious on those roadways. Don't drive the normal speed when you are on those freeways. I've definitely been on the freeways, and I've seen people trying to drive at 70, 80 miles an hour. And I'm like, okay, you're about to end up in a wreck. And usually that ends up happening here in Houston. So be cautious on those roadways. Highs in the 90s, lows in the 70s as we head into the next few days. But just keep an eye on those rain chances, and you can get the latest weather forecast on KHOU.com and on the KHOU 11 app. We're pushing out notifications when the weather gets a little bit treacherous, and so you can always count on us to give you the latest information and the latest conditions on our area roadways. Have a good rest of your Sunday.